прийшов. Дякую.
Dear colleagues, thank you for everyone who came here. And the topic of our next briefing, forgotten names who will continue searching for 54 disappeared Maidan protestors. Our speakers, Iryna Savchenko, mother of disappeared Maidan activist Sergiy Novitskyi, Nadia Dugova, coordinator of Maidan Search Initiative, Tetyana Slobodian, coordinator of Maidan Search Initiative, Matviiv, coordinator of Maidan Search Initiative. Good afternoon. Let's start with the core. One of our coordinators, I am a coordinator, my name is Matviiv. I would like to tell you how many efforts have already been put by our initiative and other organizations into the search for missing Maidan activists. What is the problem of missing people at Maidan? At the end of February, the search organizations Euromaidan SOS and our initiative Maidan Search Initiative had hundreds of persons on the list who were missing. Our first steps were focused to try to find them physically. My friend and me, we have physically searched for people in Kiev, in the river Nivki, in Bravary forest, in crematorium, and also in dead houses. Our search team till May have searched in 100 kilometers of forests, including also water reservoirs. We dove in reservoirs, and in Mariinsky Park we searched. Rather many documents have been found and scenes which are connected to Maidan, but in that chaos when police officers did not work at high performance, those proofs have not been attached to the evidences in the cases related to Maidan. Anonymous sources said that there were dozens of corpses in various forests near Kiev. We had to work independently because law enforcement officers did not assist us, so till spring we replaced the law enforcement forces by our own efforts. I would like to tell you also that we understood that we should switch to a lawful plane, and we started to document the cases and search information by each missing person separately. So when the database was formed based on Euromaidan source organization, and now we have a separate database, and we have more than 50 persons, missing persons on our list. And I'm giving the floor to my colleagues now. Good afternoon. My name is Tetyana Slobodian, coordinator of Maidan Search Initiative. Here there is a brief infographics by years. As of last year, there were requests, more than 1,000 requests submitted to our initiative. Those people disappeared during February events in Maidan, and people were found, had been found as of last year. You can see figures the number of heavenly hundreds of persons who were dead. 957 persons had been found by 2015. As of today, the number of missing is 53 persons. 7 of them have been found so far this year. Unfortunately, 3 of them are dead. Two of them, the reasons of death of 2 of them are unknown, and 3 persons are alive. One person died during anti-terroristic operation in the east of the country. So far we have 53 missing persons, and their search should continue. So I am giving the floor to Nadia Dugova, our coordinator for legal issues. My name is Nadia Dugova. Thank you for coming here today, because volunteers of Maidan Search Initiative for 2 years have been putting efforts in this case, so your support is important for us. Some MPs have been assisting us for 2 years. Of course, as concerned the missing Euromaidan persons, you saw infographics of the number of persons, but there are some errors, of course. And cooperating and sending requests to enforcement institutions such as General Prosecutor's Office and National Police Offices, we received ambiguous answers. For example, to the General Prosecutor's Office we sent a request and received an answer. And the General Prosecutor's Office sent to National Police Office, and we received information not correct, that information is not correct and in the request. That is why we believe that both General Prosecutor's Office and National Police do not put sufficient efforts in the search of the activists. 53 activists of Maidan events have not been found according to the data. We know that only 4 criminal proceedings have been initiated according to the data of the National Police Office of Ukraine. We have missing activists in our database for some reason. The criminal cases have been closed on them in the police. We don't know how this is possible, and we have such Miss Belausova Yulia Nikolaevna. She disappeared in February 2014, but the National Police Office gave us a reply that she was missed in July 2013. This is a mistake. We have such activists as Vashuk and Bandarets who were missing since March 2014 in the occupied territories. For some unknown reasons, the criminal proceedings have been initiated only for Vashuk, and Mr. Bondar did not enjoy criminal case being initiated. As concerned Mr. Zalishik, police replied that there is a pre-trial investigation in police office. For some surprising reason, we understood that Ivanov and Yusim persons who were not connected to each other, their cases were joined together, although they are separate persons, and these cases have been closed. And no persons were found. I demonstrated you examples how national police treats the cases of Euromaidan activists. Of course, there are some police investigators who really conducted good investigations, but there is a poor number, there is a small number of such investigations. There is a legend which is already proved by evidence that in 2014, after Yanukovych fled, there was a resolution issued to destroy all the proofs about Euromaidan activists who were missing or convicted unlawfully. The Ombudsman Ludkovska replied to us, but she did not explain that this resolution concerned only non-persecution of those who took part in Euromaidan events. We also submitted, we also addressed MPs, and some MPs submitted requests from their own offices. Legal proceedings are ongoing now about Kiev-based crematorium. We have a big package of documents. I have 10% of those papers in my hands now, and there are documents dated February 2015. They are being processed by volunteers of our organization. I would like to summarize now that Euromaidan activists, they are people, they disappeared during Euromaidan events, and they should not be forgotten, first of all, because they are a part of Euromaidan case, and we are willing to cooperate with law enforcement officers. The thing is that they should be willing to cooperate with us, and I would like now to give the floor to the mother of Euromaidan activist Sergiy Novitskyi, who is missing. I don't know what to start with because I'm speaking publicly for the first time. My son disappeared in February 2014. I did not know that he was at Euromaidan. I thought he disappeared in our town. That is why I looked for him here. When I was conducting my own investigation, I found a person who told me that he was seen here at Euromaidan. I came to Euromaidan and I addressed Euromaidan Source Initiative, and I met here Petro. This person also proved that he was here, my son was here, but I faced the wall. Nobody helps me. I'm addressing the president. If you have at least a minute, please pay attention to my requests which I have sent to you. I would like to have a meeting with you. You have lots of assistance. Whether you have no time for me, just 5 minutes for me, the case, they responded to me that the case of my son have been transferred to the national police, and the national police is saying that it was transferred to the prosecutor's office. Nobody knows anything, and only the volunteers can help me or give some hint. The Freedom Party promised me to help. I called them by phone, but no result I have. Dear people, don't you have children? My son has 2 children. And they are waiting for him. Maybe something happened. Look into his eyes. Maybe he is alive. Maybe the person has changed. Maybe he has lost his memory. Maybe he is close to you. Maybe he doesn't know that he is him. He is from the town of Berdichev, and all of us are waiting for him. Thank you for your attention. I would like to add just several words. There is one problem. It is very serious problem of missing persons, because the law enforcement persons will comment on our briefing, and of course I will agree with them that some persons' details are not full because some persons did not provide their real details, because the law enforcement officers those days were on the side of opposite force. That's why it was people hidden their data, so where the details are not full. Anyway, from our previous experience, we may say that only if we have doubts about some person, and the person was found alive or dead. So indeed, the main goal of this meeting today to engage the General Prosecutor's Office and National Police to cooperation with us. We are ready and willing to provide all documents which we have. We just need mutual interest on their part, and we would like that the cases of persons who disappeared at Maidan, they should be added to the cases of other Euromaidan activists. I would like now to start the questions series, and here we have representatives of Prosecutor's Office and National Police.
Ivana Bromishova, 112 Ukraine channel. I have a question. And what infringes your activity? And also you told about crematorium. Do you have some data and the information on burnt bodies or something like that? And also you told us about the order and what is the number of this order in order to read it resolution, we thought we are speaking about. So it was difficult to cooperate with the bodies of power. They created some obstacles, and we tried to contact the Department of Investigation. And before that, we wrote letters to the Ministry of Internal Affairs and to SBU. Also, we made some requests and sent them to local police departments, and there were no quality cooperation from the other side. We tried to help. We tried to provide our database. We tried to cooperate with them because we are not professional investigators. We are just volunteers, and we do it for free for 2 years. And we wanted to provide the information to the law enforcement institutions. And there are some investigators, some departments that cooperated with us. As to the about the crematorium, maybe after a press conference, I cannot reread all those facts and figures that we obtained. Okay, we are speaking about some
gas consumption.
Consumption of fuel in this crematorium, and also some gender and sex characteristics of those who were burnt there. And also we have information on those people who were freed. And you know that we are skeptical about that because this information is not verified. And we also took the information about those people who were freed, and maybe they could provide some information about those accusations on some burning, mass burning of people there. And we plan to send these documents to the proper state bodies, but they say that they are not interested, or they know about it, or it's not a criminal case. And now we work with our own lawyers, with the specialists, with engineers who can give us information. What should we pay attention to? About gas expenditures, we are not experts. And we have representatives of the prosecutor's office, and we can copy this data. And also, it should be a correlation between gas consumption and bodies burned. But we should study this issue, and you can study the documents after the press conference. Next, as to Ms. Lutkovska, there was a case. We were in the Bureau of Forensic Studies, and we saw the document that the Department of Health, if it was in January, October, or in February, but in March, they wanted to destroy all information, and it wasn't mentioned what facts that are concerning Euromaidan. And this is a deputy of Lutkovska, Mr. Dam, and it is done through the deputy's request, but there's no understandable answer. I can cite, if I could, or to give you the copies of this resolution and of Ms. Lutkovska. And we have time for one more question. Please introduce yourself first. Stanislav Savchenko, 1+1 channel. Let's turn back to crematorium. And how many identified bodies were there in the crematorium? How many. If we had such information, we would tell you about it. We have some suspicion on this because our specialists studied the discrepancies between gas consumption and the number of bodies burnt, and we don't have such specialists in order to provide this information. Volunteers cannot give the answer about this. And how many people did you find during these years? Let's just name these people. We want to make general conclusions. What is the number of people and who is dead and who is alive? And here we provide information that through 2014 and 2015 there was about 1,000 missing, and in 2014-2015 we found 957, and we gathered the information from 3 different sources. And then in 2015-2016 there were 53 missing and 7 found. And how many people are dead and how many are alive? 17 dead. From that list, 6 of them are from heavily 100, and the rest, it is difficult to identify whether they were related to Maidan, and they were not identified as activists, or they found them not in the territory of Kiev, and they go just like missing people who died from other reasons. But whether they were carried away from Maidan or what happened to them should be established by police. And where did you find these people, dead or alive? If a person is alive, why he or she was missing for 2 years? Those people who requested for information, these were relatives and friends, and when the person returned, no one informed us that this person is not missing anymore. And some people, they didn't want to contact, and they were hiding, and they hid in different places, starting from monasteries and other states. And there were some cases when people didn't know that they someone wanted to find them. And if you need an information, I will provide it later of records. And as to those who was killed, we found bodies from these people, and the majority of these people. And this information was got from the parents, and that some parents didn't want to comment on the situation, and that was the case for the investigators department to establish the cause of the death of these people. And as Taras told you, it's difficult to establish the reason of their death or whether these people were connected to Maidan. And the last question, please be sure. Ukraine channel. I have a question to the representative of the Ministry of Internal Affairs. Please take the floor.
The question is, we have heard from the volunteers they failed to manage to have cooperation with you to establish relations with your offices. So how many people have not been as Taras said already, that in 2014 Euromaidan Source was the initiative which we cooperated with since December 3rd of 2013, when the first requests were submitted. from Euromaidan about missing persons. As many speculations are present whether people were on Maidan, whether they are missing, we have united, we joined all the information from which was submitted by NGOs and MPs and and the information which is present in territorial offices. Now we are talking about 53 persons missing. Their places, their locations are not unknown. 47 of them have incomplete details. That is why we can't conduct their search in full. We just have surname and approximate age. There are many of them by regions, and when we establish that these persons have not been at Maidan, we have no possibility to find such information. If someone has such information that this person has been at Maidan and I know him, such person is invited to come to our law enforcement offices. Thank you. It was the head of the criminal investigation department, Roman Krylovich. Thank you very much, Roman Krylevich. Colleagues, the next briefing will be in 1 minute.